All right. Hi, everybody. Let's get started. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. And yeah, it's getting to that point where we need extra layers. So if at any time you have to take a layer off as we warm up, then feel free to do that. Okay. Everybody good on Zoom? Okay. All right. So let's begin as we always begin with 3 treasures. The 3 treasures are the body, the breath, and the focus of the mind. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes, and we're going to take them in order, one by one. So beginning with an awareness of the body. Just allowing your attention, your focus, settle into your body and your physical sensations and the sensation of your alignment within gravity. And it may be useful to bring your attention to your feet and how your feet are making contact with the ground. Because if we consider these 3 treasures on the microcosmic level, we're talking about the body and the breath and the mind. And if we're considering these 3 treasures in the macrocosmic level, we're thinking about the earth, about life, and about the heavens above. So bringing our awareness to our feet, where our body is making contact with the earth, we're already taking a step towards harmonizing the macrocosm and the microcosm, which really is what Qigong is very much about. So perhaps noticing how your feet are making contact, noticing where your weight is in your feet, if it's in one foot more than the other, if it's in the front of the foot or the back of the foot. And as we bring our awareness to our bodies, it helps to ground our awareness. Helps to bring us into right here and now. Just feeling what's going on in this moment. What sounds are going on around us. What the temperature of the air feels like against our skin. What it feels like to be oriented between heaven and earth. And as we settle into our bodies and feel more stable in our alignment, feeling more grounded, it may naturally occur that our breathing becomes more noticeable to us. How deep we're breathing, how long we're breathing. So allowing the awareness to expand from the first treasure, the body, to include the second treasure, the breath. And you may notice that bringing your attention to your breath changes your breath a little bit. But you don't have to worry about breathing any particular kind of way. Just notice how your breath is. And as you watch your breath, you might notice places where your breath seems to move in your body and places where it seems to be a little restricted. And if you'd like, you can invite your breath into some of those places that it isn't moving as easily. You might notice how the breath helps to refine your alignment, helps to expand your alignment or your awareness of your alignment, giving you access to more sensations in the body, giving you access to more of yourself. And as you are paying attention and noticing your breath moving into and through your body, you might also notice or noticing that sometimes watching the body and the breath, it just totally absorbs our awareness. Sometimes the awareness and the focus of our mind might move from the body and the breath to something else. So just noticing the focus of the mind, where it is. And just like the breath, it doesn't have to be any particular place. This is just an invitation and an opportunity to notice where and how it is. If it feels like your mind is moving too many places too quickly, you can use the awareness of the breath and the body to help give it a little more focus, maybe helping to slow it down, helping to ground it. Maybe even to the point where the mind feels settled or even empty. Not that nothing is happening, but that it's just like clouds passing through the sky. You can notice the gaps in between the clouds as much as you notice the clouds. And whenever it occurs to you, you can bring awareness to the sensation of your body and the alignment of your body and the sensation of your breath as it moves into your body. And just this is Qigong. Qi can be translated as breath, as energy, as vibration. Qigong means to cultivate. Cultivating an awareness of our breath, cultivating an awareness of our energy, cultivating an awareness of the frequency that we're vibrating at. So when you're ready, let's bring our hands together and we can massage our hands together, generating a little bit of warmth in between the palms. Warmth is energy. Energy is qi. Generating a little bit of qi in our hands. And then let's take a deep breath in. On the exhale, shake the hands out. And then we can rub the palms together again, and maybe even taking a moment to massage one hand with the other. If there are any areas in your palms or your hands that feel like they need a little extra attention, you can hang out in those spots. And then what we're going to do for just a couple moments is shake a little bit. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Just start to bounce up and down slightly on the heels if you'd like. And really, this is free, spontaneous. So shake however feels comfortable to you, however it happens. Maybe it's shaking like this. Maybe it's turning from side to side. Maybe your arms are up in the air. Maybe you're leaning over. Maybe you're kicking your legs. We're outside and it's a little chilly. So however you need to kind of get the blood flowing, warming things up. Part of what this does is it does help to relax our muscles, which allows blood to flow into our muscles. And the blood, the shaking, what we're doing is we're getting all this deep, warm, nutrient-rich blood that tends to settle in our core, especially when we're a little cold. We're bringing it up and out into our limbs, into our extremities. This time of year, a lot of people tend to suffer from cold hands and feet, Raynaud syndrome. So we can counteract that. And as you're shaking, remember to breathe. So if you want to take a deep breath in and audibly exhale, facilitate a shake using the sound and the vibration of your voice to help things move. Like, you can also blither a little bit. So like a big breath in. Qigong is a little silly, so it's okay to be silly. We can give the people on the street something to gawk at. As you loosen up or as you shake, you might notice some resistance to loosening up and shaking. So just notice that. Where is that resistance coming from? Can we move through that resistance or melt it down? And then as you're ready, you can slow it down a little bit. Work your way back into just standing. And then let's do 3 clearing breaths. So inhale the arms out and up. Exhale down through the center of the body. Bless you. Again. Sky is beautiful today. When your arms reach your sides, you can just stand and breathe. And as we were doing when we started, just noticing the sensations of your body and noticing your breath as it moves into and through your body. After shaking a little bit, maybe noticing the breath moving into different areas or moving in different ways. Does it feel the same? Does it feel different? It doesn't have to be any kind of way, but just notice how it is. Good. And now we're going to do what's called the padai, which I don't think means anything in Chinese. I think it's my Chinese Qigong teacher's, her Chinglish way of saying patting. We're going to pat our bodies. So she refers to this as her Qigong flu shot. So this time of year, it's getting a little bit colder. It's known as cold and flu season. This is a great way of really just energizing the body, of getting our fluids, our oxygen, our blood moving from the depths up into the surface and venting out, so that we have like what's called in Chinese the Wei Qi field, our defensive qi that helps to protect us, helps to off gas. So we're going to do the whole thing twice. We're going to pat several places, starting from the head, working down through the body. We're going to do 2 sets of 8. And then we'll do the whole sequence twice. So the first time we'll go through, I'll call out where we're going. We'll move through it nice and systematically. And then we'll do it a second time and we'll move just a little bit faster through it. So I'm going to count. It'll be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how it will be. So I'm also going to count in Chinese because that's how I learned how to do this. So feel free to count along. Okay. So beginning as we always begin, bring your awareness to your body. Notice that you're breathing. Notice the focus and the quality of your mind. And let's rub our hands together. So the first several places we pat are on our head, so please feel free to pat gently. So we'll begin with our cheeks. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Side of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Back of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Top of the head. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Forehead. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Neck. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Upper chest. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. Shoulders. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、2、3、4、5、6、7、8. san, se, wu, liu, qi, ba. Under the arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Hands， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Lower ribs， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Belly， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Lower back， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Hips， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Hip creases， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Thighs， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Back of the knees， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Legs， 一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八，一二三四五六七八，二二三四五六七八。Inhale, exhaling. 2 more like that. Take your time. Big breath in. And then exhale, flushing that through the whole body. 1 more. When your arms reach your sides, you can just stand for a moment, take a few breaths. So we're going to do that whole thing again, moving just a little more quickly through the body. I won't be calling out where we're going, but you can just follow along. If you get lost, you can catch up very easy. And we're going to be quick, but we're not going to hurry. So just keeping that in mind. No rush, nowhere to get to. We're here already. So rubbing the palms together. Remembering to breathe. And let's begin. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。1、2、3、4。2、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。 san, se, fu, liu, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, i, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, 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 i, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, i, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, i, ar, san, se, fu, liu, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, i, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, ar, san, se, fu, liu, chi, fa, i, ar, san, inhale, exhale. 2 more big breaths. One more. Just take a moment, let your arms relax by your sides. You can feel the beating of your heart, the pumping of your warm, nutrient-rich blood throughout your body. Blood carrying oxygen, carrying qi to all of the cells and the tissues in your body. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you need to shake it out or adjust your stance a little bit, that's fine. Right. Any questions about anything so far? Well, I think we don't do our feet just because of logistics. Yeah. I've kind of played with it myself in doing it. The way that I learned it, we kind of finish here. But I have, when I've done it, it's like finishing and then kind of taking a breath and like slapping my feet as I come up, something like that. So that's something you can play with. Yeah, because there's no hard and fast rules, yeah. Any other questions? Sure. Yeah, so how we say 6 in Chinese is liu, L-I-U, liu. Yeah, and actually, a little bit of, if you ever go to China and you want to be cool to the kids, for them, they say liu, liu, liu when something's really cool. And the hand signal for 6 is like the Hawaii hang loose. So you go liu, liu, liu. So just in case you ever need that, put that in your back pocket. Okay, so today is the autumn equinox, like today, which is a major astrological event. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer so they have a better view of the whiteboard here. If you want to come in to have a better view of the whiteboard as well, you're welcome. So I'm going to move everybody. Okay. Can you see that okay? Okay. All right. So last week we had this same setup here. This is the 5 elements, right? Earth in the center, wood, fire, metal, and water. On this side, last week, we had it set up more as how it applies to our Qigong practice, where wood corresponds to movement, metal corresponds to breath, fire corresponds to insight, water corresponds to potential, and earth is the intention in the middle that kind of brings it all together. So this week, we're taking the same 5-element map and we're applying it to the 4 seasons. So we have wood that corresponds to spring, fire that corresponds to summer, metal that corresponds to autumn, and water that corresponds to winter. Earth is still in the center because that's what these 4 seasons revolve around. So during the course of a year, what we have is, if we're starting in winter, we have this, and if we were to consider this line to be like the horizon line, this is the horizontal vector that we're dealing with. So during winter, all of the qi, the yang energy, is deep inside, just like with the trees, the qi is down in the roots underground. Or when it's very cold in our bodies, our blood tends to go very deep into our core. Animals hibernate. It's like everything is resting and consolidating here because we've had summer, which is everything is up and out. If we don't come back down inside to consolidate and to nourish, then where do we rise from? You know, it's almost like, if you're thinking about it in terms of like a martial art or something, if you throw a punch, you have to come back in order to throw another punch. So in our cultures, we tend to hang out here a whole lot. We tend to be very active and very external and always go, go, go and do, do, do. And it's no wonder why we have a hard time staying healthy, you know, and why so many of us are suffering from things like adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue syndrome and burnout and all of these kind of chronic low-grade inflammatory processes that are going on in our body, because we're always up here. And very rarely do we take the time to go down in here and rest. And because we're so oriented to being up here, like in the course of a day, right? This would be high noon, this would be midnight. A lot of times during midnight, rather than being deep inside and resting and rejuvenating ourselves and nourishing and getting good sleep, we're actually awake, laying there, feeling buzzy. And it's like, how can I get some rest? It's hard when our energy is so oriented to being here. So winter, very important. It allows the qi, the yang energy, to consolidate, to be nourished, to re-energize, so that then in springtime, there's this natural rising type of energy that rises to the spring. The sap comes up from the trees, new growth starts to happen, new ideas. We get excited. It's like, ooh, I'm coming out of winter, coming out of hibernation. It's great. I want to interact with people, see things again. It's warming up. And then the qi continues to rise up to summer, where we just talked about, where it's full bloom, lots of activity, lots of things happening. And then the qi starts to descend again, which brings us to where we are now in the autumn. So this is the time when we have this balance of energy. Like here we have the longest days and the shortest nights. Here on the spring and autumn equinoxes is where it's balanced. It's an equal amount of time for day and for night, but there is definitely a transition that's happening to where we're moving more into the yin period of the year, when the qi is underground as opposed to above the ground. And so doing things this time of year to harmonize with that dynamic, as far as slowing down, moving internally, going a little bit slower, dressing a little bit warmer, maybe going to bed a little bit earlier, maybe sleeping in a little bit longer. All of these types of things help us to work with the qi and guide it back down deep, deep into our bodies, just as it's happening going underground in our external reality. So this is how we can harmonize with what's going on in our external environment. Again, I've mentioned this before. I feel like a lot of the reason why this time of year is considered to be cold and flu season is because we're so out of balance with this. Like what's happening in the autumn in this country, in most countries. Kids are going to school, they're starting something. Everything is going upwards in the springtime. Like, why is that? Someone told me that they originally designed the school year to go along with planting seasons and farming, because a lot of kids lived on farms, 100 years ago or so. And so, they needed to be around in the summertime to help their parents and do stuff in the fields. That's not so much happening anymore. I mean, if it was, maybe it wouldn't be as much of a cold and flu season because we'd be more in tune with the earth. But again, so kids are going to school, the holiday season is ramping up. So people are talking about, traveling, doing a bunch of stuff, going places, expending a lot of resources, whether that's physical energy, whether that's monetary energy of buying a bunch of crap that nobody really wants, just because we're supposed to. And so then, we feel burnt out and exhausted because we're moving contrary to what's happening in the universe. So how can we counteract this? By taking moments regularly during this time of year to help guide our awareness, guide our yang energy deeper into our bodies, allowing it to settle. Maybe taking time to be quiet and be still, whether that's sitting meditation, whether that's just some type of gentle contemplative practice, journaling, playing an instrument, going on an easy walk and not necessarily a heavy duty run, doing something to help guide this energy internally. So the autumn corresponds to the metal element. The metal element in our physiology, in Chinese physiology, corresponds to our lungs and our large intestines. And so when we think about what the lungs and the large intestines do, they have this twofold action. One is that they grasp things. So the lungs grasp the breath. The large intestine is grasping all of the food stuff that has been processed by the stomach and the small intestine. It's pulling it in. It's actually extracting a lot of fluids and trace minerals from all of that stuff, firming it up, turning what's left over into stool that can be evacuated. The breath is again grasping the oxygen and the qi out of the air. And then once it's grasped, then the other piece is letting go. And not only just a release, but actually like a wringing out, kind of like squeezing out a bowel movement. Or not just letting go of the breath, but really fully exhaling all the way out until you squeeze it all the way out. So that's what the metal element is doing, these organs, the lung and the large intestine. Just like when we think about like the leaves on the trees, like the trees are wringing out all that they can get from the leaves, and then they let them go. And the leaves fall down to the ground. And then those leaves, what we have let go of, what the trees let go of, that actually becomes fertilizer to the ground so that then new growth can happen in the spring. After there's been this period of rest and all of that stuff decomposes in the leaves, decomposes, goes down deep into the soil. So we can kind of see again how this is showing up all around us. And so how can we be in harmony with that? Qigong is a wonderful way to do that by just bringing our intention to certain practices that we're doing. And the wonderful thing about Qigong, which I think is interesting, is that you can do the exact same movement practice any one of these seasons. But depending on the intention behind how you're doing the movement, you can get a whole different experience from it. So there can be a movement that you can do in the summertime that is about bringing things up and shining forth and radiating outward. And that exact same movement in the autumn can also be about off-gassing and letting go and wringing out of what is no longer needed. So again, it's less about the specific movement and more about the intention behind it. Having said that, there are movements that are more specific to the different elements. And so they tap into these dynamics that we're talking about a little bit more. They activate the meridians on the body that correspond to these metal organs of the lung and the large intestine. And so that's some of what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so after all of that talking, are there any questions about any of this that we've talked about? Questions or comments or observations about anything else? In person or Zoom? Okay, great. Well then, let's start our practice. So, all right, moving the Zoomers. All right. Okay. So, we're just gonna kind of cycle through several different movements that, again, relate to this metal element, relate to the lung, the large intestines, relate to autumn, and I'll talk about some of these things as we're doing the movement, but you don't have to listen too closely. Just by doing the movement, that will be enough. So the first thing that we're going to do is a little movement and the healing sound for the metal element, for the lungs. So again, as we always begin, we'll take a moment to bring our awareness to our body and our alignment. Noticing the breath and the movement of the breath. And the focus and the quality of the mind. And as you stand here, if you'd like to invite your awareness into your lungs and your rib cage, and just take a moment to feel your rib cage, not only the front of the rib cage, but feeling also the sides and the back of the rib cage. And really, we spend so much time noticing this area of our rib cage, it might be useful just to bring awareness to the back of the rib cage. Because if your awareness is in the back of the rib cage, the sides and the front will get carried along. So see if you can invite your breath into your back. There is a lot of research that's been done about how breathing into the back of the body helps to calm the nervous system, helps to work with the vagus nerve, helps to relax the diaphragm, also really helps to improve our posture. So breathing into the back of the body, feeling the movement of your lungs. And if you're breathing into the back of your body, you might become aware of how big your lungs actually are. You might also become aware of how much of that space is underutilized when we breathe. So breathing into the back of the body, visualizing the size and the shape of your lungs. On your next inhale, allow your arms to float out and up. Your palms face each other overhead. On the exhale, just let the arms move away from each other. The knees can soften. And then another inhale. So it's like our whole body is a bellows. Then relaxing. One more breath in. And exhale. Turn the palms out. Now, on your inhale, bring your index fingers and your thumbs together and pull in as you breathe. And exhale, relax and letting go. So it's like the lungs grasping the chi out of the air. And relaxing. One more time. Now on this exhale, as you exhale, let the arms come out, let your upper body hinge forward and your arms can wrap around your body. Bring yourself out, bend your knees and then inhale, big breath in, coming up. And again, exhale, bringing your body out. Big breath in. And exhale, last time. Stay folded over. You can relax your arms down. Take a breath. Exhaling, rest. Turn your palms back to back. On the inhale, roll yourself up. Inhaling up. Exhale, opening the arms out to the side, looking up to the sky. And breathe. You can reach back through the thumb and the index finger of each hand, stretching your upper chest, stretching some of the small muscles that are in your neck, known as the auxiliary muscles of respiration. Breathing. And then when you're ready, bring your right hand across your body, making a little beak and just underneath the collarbone. And then the left hand comes in underneath the collarbone. So we're going to make the healing sound for the lungs, which is like an S and a Z sound together, like a S. And your teeth are together and you're kind of pushing the breath through your teeth. So you really have to engage your diaphragm to get the breath out. There's a little resistance there. So we'll do it 3 times. As we make the sound, we're going to tap our lung points. And when we get to the end of the breath, just a little to get the breath all the way out. So big breath in. Bring yourself all the way out. Big breath in. Again. One more. Clearing out your lung chi. Allowing the arms to come down and then inhale out and up. Exhale. Relaxing here for just a couple breaths. And just feeling the areas in your body that feel activated from that movement. Maybe the upper chest, maybe down along the arms, out into the thumb and the index finger area of the body. So the direction associated with the metal element and with autumn is the west, the direction where the sun sets. Just like how in the autumn, that's the setting of the yearly cycle. A constellation in the western part of the sky, the direction that the tail of the Big Dipper points to in the autumn, is known as the white tiger. So the tiger is associated with the metal element and with the lungs. So let's do a movement associated with the tiger. Inhale your arms out and up. And as you exhale like a tiger scratching its claws down a tree, bring your hands down. Bring your chin to your chest, looking down at your hands, stretching the back of your body. And then on the inhale, bring your hands up, rising them up like claws. Big breath in and then exhale back down. Chin to the chest, stretching the upper back of the chest. Again, inhale, coming up. Exhale. Tigers are graceful. Tigers are very strong. 2 more. Embody your tiger. Last one, bringing the claws up. And then dig in and exhale, pulling down. Inhale, the hands can come up to your chest. And then exhale. Another animal associated with the lungs and the metal elements is the crane, because cranes have big, beautiful, graceful wings. So I'll mirror you. Let's bring our right foot in just a little bit and bring the heel off the ground. And on the inhale, let your crane wings come out to the side. And then exhale. Arms just to shoulder level. This time, inhale, bring your knee up. And exhale. This time, the knee comes up and the arms reach all the way up overhead. And then exhale, stepping out to the right. Bring the left foot in. Inhaling, arms up, shoulder level, the heel comes up. And relax. And then the knee comes up. And relax. Balance test. And then the knee and the arms all the way up. And exhale, stepping out. So we're going to do this again on the other side. It's like slowly taking flight. So just a little bit up and relax. A little bit higher. Getting lighter with each movement. And this time we take off up into the sky. And relax, stepping out. Foot comes in. Now just the heel. A little lighter, the knee floats off the ground. And then the knee comes up and the arms come all the way up, touching. One more on each side. Finding our roots, our stability. Inhale. One more time, up into the sky. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Taking our time. Nice full breaths. And just coming up as high as feels comfortable. And then stepping out. Take a breath in. And exhale. Breathing. In the context of the internal organs, the lungs are considered to be the canopy. It's like a lid, sometimes referred to as the teapot lid. A very well-made teapot in China, when it's full of water and it has its lid on it, you can turn it to its side and no water comes out because the lid fits so tightly. If the lid is loose, then the water comes out. When there are things physiologically like incontinence, like bowel intolerance, a little leaking of the urine, that's often treated via the lungs because the teapot lid, the canopy, is a little weak. So strengthening the lungs helps the integrity of everything, helps things to kind of be lifted up and held up and stabilized and oriented. So we're going to do a movement called opening the teapot lid, stretching the lung meridians. So let's gather up some chi, inhale. Exhale, the fingertips come forward towards the body, palms back to back, Now pointing the fingertips out. Bring your index fingers and thumbs together. See if you can keep your hands, the rest of your hands together. A little bit of a stretch. Elbows out to the side. And now we're going to nice and slowly inhale as we open the arms, pressing out to the sides. Maybe if you'd like, coming off of your heels just a little bit. And then exhale. Back onto the heels, onto the ground, knees bent. And then inhale and allow the stretching of the arms to bring more breath into the body. And exhale. Squeeze yourself, bring yourself out. And again, inhaling. Maybe lifting off the heels nice and strong and stretching, and exhale. And if you need to keep the heels on the ground, you can do that. A couple more. Big breath in, stretch your lungs, stretch your breath. 2 more. Last one. Now, part 2. Let the hands come down and then they roll up and down. Inhale the arms out. Maybe taking a wider stance, and then exhale, palms back to back. Inhale the arms up. Exhale out to the sides. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Palms back to back. Again, in. Exhale. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. Pumping the chi through the lungs. In. Out. In. And out. So just letting the movement be a meditation. Inhaling as we rise up. Exhaling as we open out. Again, inhaling as we rise up. Exhaling. 3 more like this. More. Enjoy the breath. One more. Let your arms just relax by your sides. And breathing. And again, taking a moment, feel the area in your body that feels activated by the movements that we've done. Feeling the chest, the upper back, the shoulders, the arms. And as you breathe, invite all of that activation into the lungs, into the whole chest, the whole rib cage, especially the back of the rib cage. Next movement. Let the arms float up, thumbs and index fingers leading the way. You can inhale. And then exhale the hands down the front of the body, under the eyes, down either side of the chest and the abdomen, following the thighs down. You don't have to go too far. And then lifting through the thumbs and the index fingers, inhaling. And exhale. Down the abdomen, either side of the thighs, and then lift through the thumbs. Strong legs lift you up. And receiving. Bless you. Just moving with your breath, taking your time. Allowing the chi to move down deep into the body, down into the legs. Get rooted in your feet. Press through your heels to come up. Strong legs. So this movement is activating what is known as the Yang Ming meridians. Yang Ming corresponds to autumn. The Yang Ming meridians receive, just like this is the time of year. We've been working all year long, planting seeds, and now the harvest time is here. So receiving the harvest, gathering up what you've harvested and drawing it in and down and allowing it to be used to build what you are, building bones, building muscles, making it possible for you to continue to be alive. And again, our hips and our thighs, these muscles, tend to be either weak in people or tight in people, or maybe a combination of both. They have done research that shows that strength in the thighs and the hips is a marker of longevity. They say being able to get up off of the ground without using your hands is a marker of longevity. This movement helps to lengthen and to strengthen the muscles of our hips and our thighs. In China, they have said for centuries, this movement, if you do it 100 times a day or 1,000 times a day, will ensure a long life. So someone knew what they were talking about. Is it just because we can get off the ground easily without using our hands? Is it because our Yang Ming meridians are able to receive nourishment and convert that nourishment into blood and muscle and bone? Is it some other reason that we don't know about yet? I don't know. Let's do 3 more like this. Just going down as far as it's comfortable. Maybe over time you've been able to go a little deeper, maybe not. That's okay. Stay within your comfort zone. Do what works for you. Stay there. No need to overextend. This is not summertime. This is autumn. Inhaling up. Exhaling, let the hands move down through the body. Then coming to relax on either side. So again, we talked about how the metal organs in the body, they grasp and they release. So let's do a movement that works with that. So we're going to inhale and grasp the chi of the earth, bring it up to the heart, and then exhale, palms up, releasing. Inhale, bring the hands to the shoulders, palm up, a little stretch. And then exhale, push up. Inhale, grasping the chi of the sky. And then exhale, send it back down. So again, grasping, inhaling, drawing energy up to the heart. Exhale, open your heart. Release. Nothing to hold on to. Inhaling, stretch. Exhale. And inhale, receive. Exhale, down. Again, in. Exhale, opening the heart. If you want to reach forward, you can. Inhale, hands to the shoulders, palms up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just moving with the breath. Again, let the movement be a meditation. Take your time. Move at your pace. Stay within your comfort level. Feel this exchange of chi. We're receiving in. We're releasing out. Coming and going, no need to hold on to anything. The more that we release and open up and let go, the more room there is to receive and become full. And we get so full, we can give it all back and let it all come flooding back in and moving through us. So again, there is earth below, life in between, and heaven above. So we, as human beings, are positioned to be a conduit in between yin and yang, in between heaven and earth. So facilitating the exchange and transformation of yin qi into yang qi, and yang qi into yin qi. Bringing the qi of heaven and allowing it to be rooted in the earth and drawing the qi of the earth up so it can become manifested and extending up into the sky. We're like the filament. More. Last one, a nice breath in and release. Receiving the breath in and release. In, receiving and release. Inhale the arms out to the sides. And then exhale. Just take a moment to stand for a couple breaths. Continuing to feel this exchange of qi. Breathing the external universe into yourself. Exhaling a little bit of yourself back into the external universe. The lungs are a permeable membrane. It is a boundary, but it's a place where things meet, where things exchange. Metal in nature is a very conductive element, like copper wires, or using metal coins to exchange currency, fences made out of metal, boundaries. But again, boundaries are not only about separation. Boundaries are about where two things come together and meet. So feeling the surface of your skin, the skin in Western medicine is referred to as the third lung. Feeling this exchange of gas that happens from the inside and the outside, this permeable membrane that we are. Not separate, but connected, interfacing. Allowing the breath to be the vehicle of movement, of exchange, and of transformation. So now let's spend a little bit of time breathing. And we'll do the breath work we've been doing for a little while now. It's called shi, shi, hu, hu. So 2 breaths in, 2 breaths out. I'm going to move my hands to go along with the rhythm of the breath. You can move your hands if you'd like, but you don't have to. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And when we exhale through the mouth, it's a little forceful. And you might even feel the breath scraping the back of the top of the throat, like wringing ourselves out and receiving all the way in. So we're going to breathe like this for a little while. We're not going to go too fast. Let's take our time. So we'll begin. A little faster. Three more. That's one. Now 3 deep, slow, regular breaths. Inhale. Exhaling through the nose. Again. One more time, big inhale. And slowly exhaling through the nose, take your time, long, slow exhale, and see if you can hold the exhale as long as you can. Bringing yourself out, bringing every cell of your body out. And whenever you're ready, you can inhale. Just return to normal, natural breathing and feel how you feel. Feel the effects of just maybe not even 3 minutes of breath work. Maybe a shift in your consciousness, maybe a shift in how your body feels. And this quality that you're feeling is the activation of medicine, of turning on our own internal pharmacy. So now that we have our pharmacy turned on, if there's an area of your body that needs some attention, use your hands and touch that area. And where I need medicine is different than where you need medicine. So you don't have to do what I'm doing. But if it's an area of your body where you have some pain, if it's an area of your body where there's an organ that might be struggling, or a joint or a tissue that needs some extra support, or if it's an area where it just feels like there's some health tension or emotional congestion, you can go there. You can press with your hands, you can tap, you can poke, you can stroke. Try different things. But know that what you are doing is you're directing medicine to these places in your body that need it. And this medicine that you're using is medicine that you've created for yourself. Not only endorphins, which help to alleviate pain and elevate the mood, but I just read an article yesterday talking about endocannabinoids, which the body produces doing activities like yoga and Qigong and gentle exercise and massage and acupuncture. So there are a whole lot of chemicals that we can create for ourselves that do quite a bit of good for our bodies. We just need to take a little bit of time to generate them, and then a little bit of time to direct them where we need them. And now that we've directed them to specific places, let's distribute them throughout the whole body. So, inhaling the arms up, we can exhale the hands down the back of the head and around the base of the neck, under the collarbones, and down the back of the body, down the back of the legs, over the feet, up the front of the legs, over the belly to the chest, and then we can bring one hand out the other arm, bring the palms to face, and again, over, around the neck, under the collarbones, and we're distributing medicine throughout our entire body. We're tracing the channels, the meridians in the body, facilitating flow and movement out the arms, palms, face. One more time, over and around, under the collarbones and arms, down the back of the body, up the front of the body, out the arms, and then palms to face. Let's inhale, press up. Exhale. Two more like that. Palms back to back. Inhale up. Exhale. Drawing up and extending out and around. Letting the arms rest by your sides. Feeling your feet on the ground. The the top of your head in the sky, and breathing to the space in between. So I've said it before, it bears repeating. With all this concern around COVID, with all this concern around cold and flu season, there are an infinite number of diseases. Health is one thing. We can exhaust ourselves by trying to battle an army of the infinite, or we can nourish ourselves by cultivating one thing, cultivating health. There's also been a lot of talk about comorbidities. There has not been as much talk about co-vitalities. So if we're able to move efficiently and easily, if we're able to breathe deeply, if we're able to find calmness in our minds and in our nervous systems, all of those are co-vitalities. So that if you encounter some type of disease, you have a lot going for you. And again, cultivating health is all the same. Hygiene, the word means the art of health. It's not just washing your hands. It's about cultivating health, eating well, getting good rest, noticing what's going on around you in the environment, harmonizing with that, reading the room, doing things that we know we should be doing that are not that difficult to do. Just taking a little bit of time. A little bit of time every day is better than a lot of time once a week. Metal in nature shows up as things like gold and diamonds and silver, things that have an inherent value. When our metal element is in balance, we are in tune with what is most valuable. The lungs breathe air. We can go for weeks without food, only a couple days without water, only a couple minutes without air. So what is most valuable to our survival is the least substantial, the least material. It's available for free, hopefully for a long time. So remembering that what is of most value is available to us for free anytime we need it. Literally every moment of our lives, not just air, but all the other things as well. Let's bring our hands together, rubbing them together. And we can massage our faces up and down, back and forth over the top of the head. Down the back of the neck, and around over the chest, to the lower ribs and the belly, around the waist to the lower back and the kidneys. Drawing the hands out, shake them out. Let's pat up one arm, up the outside, down the inside, little slap, changing sides, up the outside, down the inside, and then patting the belly around the waist, down the back of the body, up the front. And then again, around and down, back up the front. right, great. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Cultivating health, which is free. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy the transition into autumn. You know, in the West, this is considered to be the first day of autumn. According to Chinese cosmology, this is the first day of the 4th phase of autumn. There are 6 phases total. So this is the peak. Like, we're here, we're deep in it. And then over the next several weeks and month and a half or so, it will be transitioning more and more into winter. According to Chinese cosmology, the winter begins November 6th, 7th. So it will still be kind of like autumn, but it will be much more tending towards winter months. So again, really working on moving inward internally, eating warmer foods, dressing warmer. You know, like some people, they don't like to dress warm because they want to hang on to summer. That's not really going to serve you in the long run, so you don't need to do that. Soups and stews are easier to digest, giving us more energy to keep ourselves warm. So things like this, harmonize, and then be healthy. All right, thanks so much. And there will not be a class next week. I will be out of town. I'll send an email reminding everyone of that. And the week after that, class will be back. So no class next week. If you'd like a video to practice next week, let me know and I can send you something. All right. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right. And thanks to everybody there. I hope you're all doing well.
I'll take a picture of the board.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, if you want a recording of this video, it worked this time, so it recorded. So let me know and I can send one to you. And does anyone have any questions before we finish up? Okay, great. Well, have a great autumn. Enjoy the equinox. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
So what if I want to come